Hello people, and again welcome back to Philippine Life Through the Eyes of an Expat. And this video is all related to some emails that I've been getting from some of my subscribers relating to property or real estate, and also about 13A visa. So if it's anything to do with what with what you might be doing is buying property, or you're going for your 13A visa, then maybe stick around and we'll talk about it. Right people, first we'll go on to the property thing. Now, I think many of you will probably know this, but when you buy anything in the Philippines relating to real estate or land or anything like that, it doesn't belong to you, okay? Because the Philippine law stipulates that foreigners cannot own land, okay? Now, many people say, yes, you can own the property that's on the land. Well, what use is that, to be honest with you? But that's not what I want to talk about. That's another story. But generally speaking, when you are with your wife or your Filipino partner, yeah, it's easy to buy it, but it's not in your name, like legally in your name. Whereas if you split up or anything like that, you are entitled to half of it. That doesn't happen, and it probably never will. And that is for a reason. And the reason for this is, think about it, right? Because land here is so cheap, okay? Property is so cheap in relation to our own countries. Now, the mentality of the Westerners is they would come over here and they would buy everything. They would buy everything, okay? And then there wouldn't be anything left for the Filipino people. So this is why the law was introduced, was to stop foreigners buying everything. Which makes sense. It makes sense. So in effect, what you're doing here, when you do buy somewhere and you build a house, don't ever think it's an investment, because it's simply not. It's not like in our country where you can, you buy a bit of land, or you buy a property and you renovate it or something like this, and you sell it for more money at a large profit. Even if your Filipino wife said, yes, we will go into real estate, you won't earn anything hardly. Or if you did, it would be very little in relation to what you would in the West. So it's best off here, I think, if you're going to build somewhere, buy somewhere where you want to live, build a house where you want to live, and stay there. Because by selling it, you probably aren't going to make any money, and then you've got the headache of doing it all again. Right, now, what I say is, all of the money that you are investing, because you aren't investing it in yourself, you're investing it in your Filipina, okay? So you've got to think about this. It's an investment for your partner, which you are prepared to walk away from. Because in essence, if anything happened, you split up, this is what you would have to do. And there could be something where you sign an agreement where if you sold the house, then, your Filipina would give you half or something like that. I don't know any cases where that's actually happened. He might have done. I'm not an attorney, guys. I'm just saying what I think I know. And I know about the property side of it. Okay. So when you build somewhere here, never think it's yours, because it's not. It's not yours. So if the relationship turns sour, and unfortunately some do, then rather than hold on to something, this is just me speaking, I just walk away. And if you've lost that money, then yes, you've lost that money in the investment of that house. The way that I see it is, because I've got a child here, I'm married, I've got a child. If anything happened to my marriage and my wife said to me, Stephen, get out, or I don't love you anymore, I wouldn't hang around. I would be out. I would really, guys. And I would rent a place, because I wouldn't stay somewhere where I felt I wasn't welcome just because I built the house. And this is only my personal feelings, because that's what I'm like. I wouldn't stay somewhere where I wasn't welcome. So, but then I would also think, well, you know, it's something for my son. And I don't think that we're going to split up. Yes, no one knows the future. But I think if we keep thinking, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that for my Filipina because we might split up and I won't get anything. Well, that's just being selfish, I think. And maybe you don't think that much of your wife to be investing in building a property. So that's one thing. Now, people said to me before with comments in the early days when I first started doing my channel 3 months ago that, oh, I wouldn't build a house, it's a waste of money. Yes, you can think of it like that, but think of the rent, okay? And not just think of the rent, because every month's rent that you pay, that's dead money, okay? And with rent, you have neighbours. You have neighbours, and you can't pick and choose your neighbours when you're in a rented accommodation. At least where I am, I've got no neighbours as such. And the neighbours that I have got, they are well respected, or they respect us, and we respect them, meaning the noise isn't blasting all the time. Yes, they have video sometimes at special occasions, but that's expected. And again, that's part and parcel of being in the Philippines. You have to drop into their culture here and their fiestas, how they celebrate fiestas here and their birthdays and things like this. And simply, they just have a little party because they want to, because that's what they like doing here, which I like that. So I fit into that category anyway, because I do the same sometimes. But I always invite my neighbour. Do you want to come, John? You know, we'll have a few beers and that. And he'll say, yeah. You know, he'll bring his video around to my house and we'll do something. But that's another story as well. But you know, guys, listen. Like I said, I'm no attorney. I'm no housing or real estate expert. I just know what I know. Okay. And I think I would always have built a house here with my Filipino wife. When I first came to the Philippines, I wasn't married. I didn't come for a lady. I just come because I liked the place, and I stayed because I fell in love with it more and more, the place. So I didn't have any intentions of building a house. I was happy just renting. That would have done me. But then when you get married and you have a family, you know, you aren't thinking of yourself anymore. Because generally speaking, and this is not all, I'm just saying generally speaking, the foreigners are normally older than the Filipinos, okay? So when we die, what do we leave them? You know, we might have savings, or our pension could be passed to them at a reduced rate, but then they still haven't got nowhere to live. So this is my thinking. You know, I've got to think of my son, and I do think of my son, and I think of my wife. So when I'm gone, they've still got somewhere to live. And this is the area in which she wants to be in. And I love this area, so it was a good choice. And it's nice for my son to grow up in. You know, he's got nature around him. He's grown up with nature. He's not grown up on a cell phone and playing games and things like that. He loves being outside in nature. So that's that, okay? So guys, just remember, you buy a property here, or you buy land and you build the house, you know, you split up from your partner. Don't ever think that you've got rights, because you simply haven't, or you haven't got much rights. In fact, we haven't got much rights in regards to anything here. Now, getting to the 13A, because someone asked me about the 13A, and they said, if your partner dies and you've got a 13A, what happens? Well, the answer is very simple. If your partner dies and you hold in a 13A residence visa, that dies with your wife. So that, and you have a certain amount of time to tell the immigration. So then you downgrade to a tourist visa. So that 13A is no longer active. Now, what they are doing, and you can check this out, guys, because the Philippines immigration is very old, but they are updating it, slowly updating it. Now, what I've heard, and this is through a visa agency, a visa consultant agency, they said that it's going to be going through the Senate, that they're going to update this 13A visa so it's in line with some Western countries. Whereas if you come to my country and you get a spousal visa and you're there for a certain amount of time and your spouse is the nationality of that country and he dies or she dies, then you still have the rights to live there regardless. So you are a permanent resident anyway. And they are going to start to do it here. Now, what you can do here as well is, and this is a fact, guys, I mean, you guys can check this out if you don't believe me, but you can check this out. I've checked it out, and I even checked it out with immigration as well. Now, let's just say, and it's not going to happen because I'm older than my wife, but let's just say my wife died, all right? And I've got a child under the age of 18, which I have. He's 3 years old. Now, if she died, would my 13A be revoked and I would have to leave or go on a tourist visa and leave this country and go back to my own country? No, I don't. The law stands at the moment that you are allowed to stay in the country till your child reaches the age of 18. So, again, that's a bit of a shitty deal as well, you know, because you've been here for that amount of time, you've invested that much into the country, not financial wise, but this is your home, this is your life now in this country, and that would be a terrible thing, wouldn't it? That you'd have to leave, so they're changing that as well. I don't know when, I don't know, because it's the Philippines, anything can take time in the Philippines, but they are changing the 13A in regards to if you've got children here. If you've got children, you can stay till your child reaches a certain age, I think 18, and then you go on to tourist visa or something like that. But again, all this is changing. It could be 10 years, guys, before it changes. It could be 10 years. You know how it is here. But they are slowly updating the immigration system in line with many Western countries, which is a good thing. Because if you've been here for, let's just say, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and the worst happens, like your Filipina dies, and then everything that you've had here, because you don't get that house either, by the way. You don't get that house. It goes to the next of kin, or it goes to your son or your daughter. If you had children, it goes to them. It doesn't go to you. Again, these things will probably be updated in... I'm saying this, and I'm saying this loosely. In years to come, it might be updated. But they are slowly going to make changes, which is a good thing, because it gives us a little bit of protection and a little bit of security, if you like. So guys, that's really it. It's just about the property and the 13As and things. And I hope it's been of some use to you. But as far as I'm concerned, if me and my wife split up, she could have that house, and I wouldn't stay if I wasn't welcome. I would simply move on. I wouldn't hang around, and I wouldn't have any bad feeling. I wouldn't think, I've spent all this money here and all that money there, But guys, that's it. I'm going to go. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please do. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.